Hey everybody, welcome back to the Point of Disorder podcast. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Norris, and I'm joined by
Adrian. I'm here too. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. This is Julie.
Yeah, and we got a ton of show for you today. Before we get into what we're talking about, we want you guys to slide over to our social medias. You can follow us on Point of Disorder on basically everything, Instagram and all that good stuff. And you can also follow Distill Social on all platforms and the Guerrilla Politic on all platforms to find all the rest of our content. But today we have a lot of show. Obviously, we have to talk about Venezuela, everything that has popped off there. We're going to talk about the IRS letting you claim your dog or not. We're going to talk about why there's so much smut on Twitter. And, of course, January 6th, because that happened this week as well, in addition to a number of other topics. But we start our show this week with Venezuela. We expected escalation, but we didn't expect escalation to this level. The former president of Venezuela, Maduro, was abducted by U.S. Special Forces, whisked away to New York, and is awaiting trial. And right now, opposition leadership is installed in Venezuela, but President Trump has said, nah, we run in Venezuela.
Well, we all knew this was about oil. Like, we've been saying it. We've been saying it for months. Well, they're bombing all these like fishermen into Kingdom Come with drones, that it's always been about the oil, because he came out yesterday and started screaming about demands like divest with Russia, divest with China and Iran, give us all your crude oil and we'll let you be. That's basically what he said. There's no precedent for this. I mean, other than when we also kidnapped General Noriega 36 years to the day prior as well. But it seemed like they had a little bit more of a plan in place for that. This is a totally different situation.
So I have a list. You know, I love my list.
I love a list. Happy New Year list.
Thank you. Happy New Year list. So my initial thought was, because we've spoken about this, like we spoke about the many things in terms of what was going on in the Caribbean, and I was actually just came back from there, believe it or not.
I'm so jealous. You're all like rested and glowing.
Am I? Oh, that's nice. I don't feel rested and glowing. I feel like I'm.
You look rested and glowing.
That's the main thing. That's the main thing. But I do have, we spoke about the fact that obviously there was like a number of reasons that they were sort of pointing at towards as to why they were behaving the way they were in terms of Venezuela. First of all, oil. And we all thought that it was oil. But quite honestly, that's the obvious answer, and it is very on brand for the United States. You do love yourselves some oil.
Yes, we do.
Stealing of like resources and assets of other countries. But at any rate, but it's hard to imagine that the juice is going to be worth the actual squeeze when you think about, from what I've heard since last Saturday when it all happened, is that it's going to take years and years and years to actually extract, because of the infrastructure that's been left in Venezuela, to actually extract anything from there. And a lot of the oil companies just aren't seems not that interested in it. And at $60 a barrel, which is basically what oil is at the moment, it's not going to be worth it from what it seems. So it just seems really weird. And not to mention the fact most of the globe is moving away from fucking oil.
Right.
So it doesn't make any sense to me. But then obviously secondary to that was their whole, he's a bad guy, he's a dictator, he's, all of that.
That is also true.
Absolutely
Both
true.
things can be true.
Absolutely. But there are fucking bad guys all over the world.
Right.
Like, we know this is there are bad dudes all over the world that are dictators. I mean, looking at you, Kim Jong-un, looking at you, Putin, like, this is happening everywhere, so it doesn't make sense. Pop that to the side. Drugs. Well, we spoke about the other week. I still now talk about all the time Nourish booger sugar, because we all know that it's cocaine. It's not fentanyl that's coming out of.
Yeah, the fentanyl's not coming from Venezuela.
Exactly. No. So to me, I'm kind of like thinking, all right, this clown car, apart from anything else, it's closed down the Department of Education and opened up the Department of War.
Yes.
So that is the answer to the question as to why they did it.
I don't want to get like too conspiracy theory tinfoil hatty, right? But the thing for me is I sat down with this, and obviously more news came out as of recording this morning. A oil tanker was seized that had a Russian flag. It was a Russian flagged tanker.
Oh shit!
That was off the coast of Venezuela. That U.S. forces have taken. They just took it. Which is, again, a violation of all sorts of international laws and maritime laws. But let's put that to the side. When we think about our economy currently and we think about what it's being propped up by, is we know that tech companies, AI companies are propping up a lot of the economy, particularly your NVIDIAs and your OpenAIs and Microsofts of the world. Well, when we're talking about technology and innovation, what is the number one, thing that thrusts forward innovation in technology? It has always been war. It has always been the military.
Yeah.
It has always been, how do we more effectively kill people, right? So you think about radar, you think about GPS, you think about cell technology, you think about the backbone of the internet, which was created by ARPA and DARPA. You think about all the stuff that we have over the past 80 years in advancements of telecommunications. It all came from military.
Yeah.
So how do we make sure that AI, because everybody has said we're at a saturation point with AI in terms of consumer tech. People are using it the way they're going to use it.
Right.
And it kind of is not really going to...
It's an advanced Google.
Yeah, it's kind of not really going to get more advanced than that. Like, we don't want to use it more advanced than that. So how do you solidify that it is used heretofore? You put it into the military.
Well, there you go. I mean, this is a military industrial complex. It always has been. That's exactly what you're describing. This is how we make our bones on war and war machines and all of that. And obviously, the United States has always been very good about going into other countries and tapping in and taking their resources. Maybe not this quite blatantly. This is very blatant. I think on top of that, the rhetoric surrounding Greenland, I just want to bring this up. This was something I think, excuse me, at the beginning of the year that we were laughing at. We're like, oh, haha, that's hilarious. Trump's senile and crazy was to, annex Greenland. He's really ramping up that rhetoric about taking military force into Greenland. I mean, other than to have a military base and presence there, why else would you
To
need
destroy NATO.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
To dismantle NATO.
That's legitimately what that's for. So this is all very calculated, even though I know we sit here and make fun of these groups. I think Gina had sent over like an AI picture of all those motherfuckers like talking about like their war room and they were wearing bikinis. Like, yeah, that's funny, but also this is really not funny. And I think all of us who are leaving 2025 behind, we're like, oh, thank God, 2025 is over. But 2026, Norris even said when we had dinner recently, he's like, no, like he's going to be so much more amped up and worse because it's a midterm year. He's got to get in his...
Got to get in his bag.
Got to get his shit in while he can. So 2026, like 3 days in, is like, hold my beer.
Yeah, it's going to be way worse. Like, my conceptualization of 2025 was he was testing just how palatable all of the craziness was and how far he could go, right? And when we saw that there was going to be no backup from Congress, there was going to be no backup from the Supreme Court, there was going to be no backup. Really, the only resistance is only come from smaller local circuit court judges, even many of them that he himself installed. That's been our only legal barrier so far.
Which is like having a fucking like a fence made out of... I said...
It's the Three Little Pigs.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is. It's like building a house made out of straw, quite honestly. And actually, I did say to Gina the other day, I feel like we're on a fucking tightrope. And this tightrope is made out of like dental floss. It's so thin. And our only net is made out of like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. It feels very fragile right now.
Not very confident in that.
I'm feeling very, very fragile right now.
Yeah, and so the not only is the rhetoric being turned up, but ultimately Trump has always said he doesn't like NATO. He doesn't like how much we contribute to NATO, which is weird because I mean, if your friend invites you to dinner and your friend is the rich friend, and you go to the most expensive restaurant in town.
Who's gonna pay?
Who's gonna pay?
I'm gonna have my T-Rex arms.
Yeah.
Like, oh, T-Rex arms. I'm sorry,
It's what we call long pockets and short arms.
Short arms, that's right.
I gotta get up and go to the bathroom right now.
Yeah, so it's like you made this situation. Like the U.S. was one of the main architects of NATO because we wanted to be able to extend influence and put pressure on Russia, put pressure on the Middle East, and have allies when we do stuff like Venezuela. That was the
Right.
whole point of NATO, is that we didn't have to do that stuff by ourselves.
And there's a lot of countries now that are shitting their pants.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they're all like internationally, like even Canada, like their news, their mainstream media is now starting to talk about the fact that fuck, if NATO goes, and this is all the Greenland stuff, obviously, then they're like, oh, okay. This is really quite problematic at this point. And I just want to point out that I think it was page 181 of Project 2025 included taking down Venezuela.
Oh my God! Like you know, like to the page number.
And page 183 then mentioned that basically Mexico. That's kind of like, so just as FYI, we basically Project 2025 very, very still relevant today.
It is very upsetting to the world order and how things have always been with at least the United States exerting a certain amount of soft power as well in certain places.
I disagree with that.
No?
Wholeheartedly.
No?
The U.S. has always exhorted hard power. Military power is our power.
I agree. Like honestly, it's like if you extract yourself from here and look from a different perspective, Vietnam, like basically it's just
I agree.
Korea.
And I said
Yeah.
earlier, we've always gone in and taken resources from other countries and said these are ours now, and we're gonna, there's the power vacuums left behind after World War II is a really big example of that. I guess what I'm trying to say is we also have soft power that Trump has unilaterally kind of destroyed over the last 11 months. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, but my thing is, and Julie, you have the best perspective as somebody who still talks to a lot of folks not from America about what's happening in America, because I think many of us are still very insular in terms of the information we're getting. But like, what is the perspective people are telling you? Because I know you still talk to a lot of folks from abroad.
Look, America's definitely seen as the bullies, like definitely seen as that. Are you asking me what the response was on social media? Would you like me to read one of the responses from? Because we actually did ask this question on Distill social media this in the past couple of days. And some of my friends responded. And
let's hear it.
This is a mate of mine, Ivan. G'day, Ivan. I know he's a big listener to our podcast.
G'day,
Loves
g'day.
you guys. Anyway, this was his response. I'm in Australia and the Murdoch media are pretty tame but generally not objecting to Trump's invasion of Venezuela. My own personal opinion, this is Ivan's, of the USA has shifted very little. It's still a shithole full of poorly educated masses and hypocritical worldviews. Basically, they talk the talk of freedom, etc., but turns out they're all fart and no shit. Love you, Ivan.
All fart and no shit. I'm gonna be stealing that.
A lot.
I'm gonna use that. That's
gonna
gonna
use
be
that a lot.
2026's mantra, all fart and no shit.
But I think that summarizes pretty well how people feel about it. Feel like about America at the moment. Very much. It's like, you know what, you guys are. We know how important you are. You're important from obviously from the military perspective, all that kind of stuff. Important. More important, I feel like, from a social perspective, that it drives a lot of cultural things like music and film. So much of that comes from America. And that's where a lot of the power comes from, quite honestly, is I know a lot of my friends and my friends' kids look at America and go, particularly their kids, look at the sport, they look at the basketball, they look at the football, they look at the, the musicians and all that kind of stuff, and they see America and put it on a pedestal from that perspective. This sort of shit really, really changes it. Will you allow me to read one of the responses from an American to some of these comments? And I just found this fascinating. I'm interested in you guys and what you think of this. Basically, this is My Funk Farm, whoever that is, basically says, for fuck's sake, we are doing what we can. With no majority in the House or Senate, a stacked Supreme Court, and a narcissistic maniac who was installed in the White House. I just want to point out, he wasn't installed.
They voted for him.
We voted for him.
Yes, sorry, My Funk Farm. We are fighting an uphill battle. We are not silent. We are resisting the only way we know how while working and trying to hold on to our lives. We are trying to survive. And then she goes, or whoever My Funk Farm goes into the history of their father, and how they'd be rolling in their grave, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, I think what's interesting about that is when we're speaking to like resistance, people are still very much going about their lives. This is, you talk about resistance and you look at World War II and the things that people had to go through, specifically in Europe. That was real resistance. That was real shit. Resisting by posting things on Instagram, that's not resistance. I want to know, like, what are you doing outside of marching?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I resent that comment so much, personally. And I resent that comment because you're not doing what you can, because to you, this crisis just started when Trump arrived.
Ding, 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 Norris.
Right?
Go.
Like that's why I resent it. When we're talking about a complete takeover of government, where we are seeing the institutions that have been installed, which by the way were not built for me anyway, but the institutions that have been installed completely dismantled and broken down, we have seen in other nations full-blown insurrection. As a matter of fact,
France.
we just had 5 years ago an attempted insurrection. So let's not say that energy does not exist in America. There are people willing to do it. It's just not you, right? And that is the issue that we have here. And a big issue that we have, and I'm going to say this and people may disagree with me or whatever, is that when you see that the African-American community is not centralized in that resistance, when Black people are not organizing that resistance, when we are not devoting our cultural, creative, and our bodies to the resistance, it doesn't happen. It don't happen. So, the No King stuff is great. And I think it was a good start for a lot of people. And you guys got to experience, my little first protest for a lot of people, right? But we're not talking about the consistent work that it takes to organize political movements, that it takes to deprogram racism, deprogram sexism, be anti-fascist, do all those types of things. It's not, that work is not happening for people.
Right.
And I think the last thing I want to say is because at the end of the day, there are a lot of people who don't want to sit and look in the mirror and say, oh, I voted for this guy, Trump, because I was raised to be a bigot. Or my family has supported this guy because we were all raised to be bigots. And to deprogram that and actively work against what's happening right now. I think that's why the level of resistance is so low and the level of activity is so low, because people have not gotten to that step yet.
Can I just add on to that? And I'm interested in your thoughts on this as well, because one thing that's been in my mind for a little while is that it feels like so much of this is about fighting for democracy, which is
Nebulous.
fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
But what we're talking about, the democracy that we had even before Trump even entered, even well before, 15 years ago, did not work for a majority. And it's not even just brown and Black people, but that's a majority of them. It's also for poor people. It's a system that's basically been built from dot to basically put a certain part of society down economically, financially, and whatever way. So this system that, the No Kings that we're all fighting for, with our marches and whatever, is fighting for democracy. And at the end of the day, that's a system that hasn't worked. It's not working in terms of, for most people, when you don't have access to healthcare. Like they constantly, if you look at the actual symptoms of this disease, basically zero access to quality healthcare unless you're rich, unless you're wealthy. The education system, we've just spoken about the fact that the Department of Education has been basically decimated. All of these foundations that actually build democracy and build a system that is, gives equality and allows people to actually rise up, it doesn't exist. So therefore, what people are fighting for, what you're talking about, Norris, is that this lady or this person seems like a very nice person. I'm sure that they think they're doing all that they possibly can to fight against this. But at the end of the day, they're probably fighting for something that wasn't good for everybody anyway.
Right. And I think you're speaking to a capitalist system, right?
Correct.
That is what is really at the heart of this here. And I want to go back to the movements too that Norris, you spoke about. One of the movements that is very near and dear to my heart is the movement to get the ADA passed. Just policy that would make Americans with disabilities have equal footing essentially and equal access to things. And they had to fight for years, people with disabilities. They had to do capital crawls to get attention. They put their bodies on the line. They also intersected with other civil rights movements at that time. And that was deep, hard work for a lot of people who gave their bodies, in some instances gave their lives in the civil rights movement. So I think that the comment is very flippant, is what it feels like, is that, oh, I'm trying my best, I'm being best. Part of the problem with capitalism is it forces us into these situations where we have to survive. So we have to survive on these certain things, and that keeps you, frankly, oppressed.
Yep.
So you can't fight back against things like, healthcare access. And I don't even want to get into what I had to deal with Blue Cross at the end of this past year. So that's kind of what I'm seeing with that. And I think this person is coming from a place where they feel like they're trying, but it's like, no, try harder. I mean, I've been resisting this bullshit from him for the last 10 years. My mom even said, she's like, I feel like we've been held hostage by a crazy person for over a decade now.
Yeah, and the rhetoric around him is terrible, and everything coming out of it is terrible. We've seen the worst of our neighbors because of this MAGA stuff. And I think ultimately, I just want to say, I am not saying that there are not people doing the work. Clearly, there are people doing the work and trying their best. And
I think we all agree with that,
and we all
Norris.
agree. Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge that out loud. But at the same time, I'm tired of hearing people say stuff like that, right? Like, I'm tired of it. I'm talking about, where were y'all when, police were blowing black people's heads off on camera on a weekly basis, it seemed like, and people were out talking about trying to get body cams, doing die-ins, doing all kinds of stuff that I remember going out and doing and helping organizing and all this kind of stuff. And the people around me, I didn't see these people there. I'm not hearing about that. So for me, I don't want to hear about you trying your best. Actually, I don't want to hear from you. I want to see you.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you. But the last thing I want to say, we want to go back to Venezuela right quick, and I just want to mention the rhetoric online. People are really afraid. Americans are afraid that we are about to get into another massive global level conflict, whether it be a world war or whether it be just something like Iraq, Afghanistan, whatever. People are very afraid. And my comment to those people is that good luck, because they not taking me. I'm turning 39 this year. Like, y'all not.
Well, I think that's a really good point, because those of us who have sons who are of a certain age and are going to age into this system, like, all y'all men in here had to register for the draft when you turned 18.
Yep.
Right?
Really?
So
Yes.
you have to register for the
I
draft.
had no idea.
Yeah, you have to register. And I don't think you have to
don't have to
serve
register-
until you're 20.
So let me get this clear. At 18, you can't drink.
No.
You don't have to be registered to vote.
It's not
But you have
compulsory.
to register to go to war.
You have to register to go to war. I mean,
Sorry.
that's the country that we're living in, right? So I look at my son and say, where are we going to be in 7 years while this all cooks, while Trump is thumbing his nose at China and Russia, the other largest nuclear powers on this planet, and you're inviting this kind of chaos into our own fucking hemisphere, into our own backyard,
Well, and the wild part is that the people who voted for him, that's who's going first.
Yeah.
Well, and they're all about this too, because I saw a Twitter post the other day about France protesting the United States. And there, I started reading the comments on Twitter, which I should never do.
No.
That's why I'm not usually on there, but I started reading them and people were like, oh, if it wasn't for us, France would be speaking German right now. And I'm like, don't you understand like the parallels that are happening between the Third Reich and our country now?
So 3 things with that, Adrian. 1, chances are not a real person.
Okay.
On Twitter, and we're gonna circle back to that. Chances are that was not
like
a real
my segue.
human. Yep. Right. Number 2 is that I think a lot of this also stems from the fact that I think people view Europe as a bunch of wine drinking pansies.
Yeah.
Like
We saved you.
We saved you
80 years ago.
Like we're the real men of
Right.
in America, whatever. But that's dumb. And number 3 is the fact that so many people lack that global context, right?
Right.
That you can't expect these people to respond to stuff like that intelligently.
And
but
the reason we have NATO is because of what happened during World War II.
is to specifically not let that happen again.
Again.
But if somebody in NATO is the person doing it, then this is a whole nother different can of worms.
Right.
No one wrote that script.
No one wrote
went,
that
oh,
script.
what will happen if?
It's not on my bingo card.
So can I just for a minute just like lighten us up a little bit because I think there's some fun to be had here.
Yeah.
So all I can think about is these guys at Mar-a-Lago with that black sheet behind.
Okay, first of all, explain that to
Situation
people
room.
because I think certain people don't understand just how ridiculous that image actually is.
Right.
Right.
They're in a situation room that's not in a bunker, that's not secure.
No, they put up black tarps in the middle of a dining room.
Curtain.
Yeah.
It looked like a curtain.
Of Mar-a-Lago and said, "This is the situation room." It's emblematic of the whole administration.
Can I take back what I said earlier about them not being idiots? Can they both be idiots and just maybe dangerous
Two
idiots?
things can be true
Two
at the
things
same
can be
time.
true.
They
They're
know what they're
dangerous
doing,
idiots.
but they're also dangerous idiots because there was no plan for this afterward. But wasn't there like something going on while they're in this
Yes,
quote unquote situation
They're
room?
in the situation room and they're reading Twitter.
They're reading Twitter.
in the background.
Right.
Which just goes to show you this is just a reality TV show that we are watching. We are literally being installed in a reality TV show. Yeah, exactly.
We're literally in it, and I did not sign up for this. I don't know where my contract is.
But so these guys remind me, and I can't help it because I watched over the holidays, I watched One Battle After Another. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet.
Yeah.
Well worth watching. I very much found
good
it
film.
very, very
Gina's
interesting.
been talking about the gay hockey players that we need to watch.
I watched a little.
apparently.
I did watch a little bit of that as well. That was quite good. But this one was a little. So basically, Sean Penn's character, who is Colonel Lockjaw, like fucking hilarious.
Oh my God.
He walks around basically the whole time with a boner. Like he is like just this dude walking around with all this power. And that's what these guys remind me of. They're just basically walking around like masters of the fucking universe.
Drunk on boner power.
Yeah, he's drunk on boner power. And of course they had no plan. They literally, they're just, they're like kids playing with fucking Lego and they're just knocking everything
it's
over.
All weak. It's all weak. People with big dicks don't go around screaming they got big dicks. Like,
Don't they, Norris?
No.
They don't.
No.
Like, I'm just keeping it for real. Like, this just further lets me know that these people are ultimately insecure, passive, scared, weak individuals that feel the need to exert power over the entire globe because of their inadequacies. Like, it is so frustrating to see the most insecure people have so much power.
They're worse than that. I feel like watching or listening and watching Trump's speech yesterday to the Republican. He literally looked like and sounded like, if you work into an aged care facility and grandpa's walking around with his robe open and his, diaper hanging out saying, I got some cookies for you kids, like pointing to his junk. That's kind of how it feels.
Well, he's like super spray tanned. Like he's been going out like really fresh spray tan.
And his hair's gone fucking pink.
It's really
What is going
creepy.
on?
I mean, I also want to point out that the president of Colombia called him senile on Twitter. So that's kind of hilarious to me. But there's a lot been going on Twitter.
In it, yeah. Let's stay on Twitter for a second because we brought it up very briefly, and let's lighten the mood a little bit because World War III is very depressing. Twitter's the worst place on earth.
Yes, we know.
Without a doubt.
We don't call it X here.
No, we don't. But apparently, there's no value to it. It's all porn now.
Well,
And
that's because AI, apparently, when you go on Twitter, you can ask if someone's posted a photo of themselves, you can ask Grok to remove their clothes. And there are men who are doing this on Twitter to not just women who've maybe posted selfies, but like to children.
Yeah.
They're having them take their clothes off as well, or Grok take their clothes off. And the response has been, for the women who have been reporting this, the response has been, well, maybe she shouldn't have posted a photo on the internet.
first of all, class action lawsuit. Number one. Everybody class action lawsuit.
Yeah, just sue.
Before we move forward in this conversation at all, class action lawsuit, everyone. Okay? Get this to every high court on the planet, not just America. I'm talking about everywhere. Yeah, there's got to be some sort of legal action because number one, I'm upset I have to say this to grown people, but just because someone posts an internet or a picture on the internet does not mean they want that picture to be a naked one.
You mean grown men? You have to say this too.
Yes.
Just to clarify.
To grown men, okay? Just because a woman wears a skirt doesn't mean she wants you to touch her or talk to her. Or
But what
any
was
of that.
she wearing?
Why are we still doing this in 2026?
So I would suggest, because there is so much blowback now on, men just, it's not as fashionable now as what it was 20 years ago to go around and just, ogle
Date rape people.
and date rape people. That's become, people are now getting in a bit of trouble
So
for
we just
that
do it
shit.
digitally now.
Correct.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying that, this whole shit could have been just all invented so that men can actually rape and humiliate women or people, men and women, online more easily.
There's a law in Michigan, I think that was passed either last year or the year before, about AI and creating pornography using AI, and it's against the law here. So, I mean, to your point, depending on where some of these people are, check your local laws because you could potentially go after folks.
And I did see that apparently the mother of one of Elon Musk's babies, one of the baby mamas.
one of his baby's mom.
Yeah, is been complaining that apparently Grok won't stop creating sexualized images of her.
Oh no! So
I don't know if you saw
is this
that.
a current partner of his or an ex?
No, just one of the moms.
Grok is basically the extension of Elon
Elon
Musk.
Musk.
Yeah.
So that's
That's all
him.
it is,
What
yeah.
is that called? Revenge porn.
Yeah.
Right. So that's he's programming Grok to revenge porn women is essentially what's happening. And he's the worst bro. The worst college bro ever. And I don't want to talk about him anymore. We talked about him so much last year and he's still out here doing horrible, stupid shit.
This one though to me is, and I've said it many times. I've said it, I believe, on this show, and I've said it on other shows and that I've been on, is that this ultimately is one of the end spokes of AI, is that the concept of being able to go in public, look at a woman, use your little Ray-Ban glasses and go make porn of her.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's creep. Oh, great. That makes me feel.
that's where we are.
We're like months from that.
I mean,
not
I'm-
years, months.
I'm mid 40s now. I don't think anyone's going to be doing that to me, but that. I mean, I also have a daughter. I got to think about these.
Just children in general.
Why
your
do people
daughters,
have to suck so bad?
your daughters, your sons, all of this.
Yeah.
And this is the problem, is that we've created a culture in which we have edified people who can't get laid. And the reason why we've edified these people is that we've paid credence to how they feel. And I'm gonna be honest with you, everyone's feelings are not valid.
Oh boy. Okay.
They're not. Your feelings are not valid.
Right.
There's no amount of explaining to me that you can do that makes it okay to
Right.
make porn of a person who didn't give you consent.
Because you're sad that you didn't get your dick sucked, or can't get your dick sucked.
You're not the only one.
Right.
dog.
Right.
It's not the government's job to provide you with sex.
No, it is not your divine right to get your nut off. It's not. So my thing is that, dude, go to the gym, Maybe learn how to speak to people. Maybe, I don't know, join a bowling club, do something.
Get therapy.
Get therapy. What even
Pay
let's
for
take-
it. Why
let's-
don't we legalize sex work?
Let's even take the therapy part out of it, because I know plenty of broken people who are still getting laid. So my thing is like, yeah, okay, yeah, legalize sex work, whatever. But even then, that's the government sanctioning and making it easier for incels. I'm trying to tell men, young men out there, I'm trying to tell y'all,
Touch grass.
touch grass. But number 2, stop being weird. If you just stop being weird, it's not that difficult.
Well, I mean, I think like weird is kind of a broad blanket statement, because there are people out there who are like, I play Dungeons and Dragons and I like, like
No,
things
but
that
we
maybe
know weird when we see it.
Well, yes, truth. But like, I think weird could find other weird. You don't need to necessarily fucking take people's clothes off of them without their consent on the internet.
Listen,
So I'm going to say, just don't be a cunt.
Yeah.
there
That's
you go.
all it is. That's
Yes.
my advice out there. Stop being a cunt. Start talking to people.
Join a club.
Start being interested and interesting. I think that's the big thing, is be interested in other people and be interesting yourself. Like,
I'm a share a piece of
Conversation.
advice that my pops gave me when I was 11 years old and I first started talking to girls and stuff. He was like, well, son, if you want somebody special, you got to be somebody special.
That's
Ding,
great
ding,
advice.
ding.
And I'm like, there you go. And now I'm motivated every day because that's what I want. And so a lot of you think you deserve some Instagram model looking girl just because you done read a book or two and, know how to program Chat GPT to, make a website for you. No, that's not special. You got to be a well-rounded individual. And also stop making porn of people without their consent.
You could probably meet someone in a club, like a Dungeons and Dragons or Dungeons and whatever.
Yeah.
That club. Do a book club. You guys start dating. You could make your own consensual porn.
So I have a question, right? Because this is gonna happen to somebody, right? Okay, you talking to maybe not you, Julie.
You're married.
You're married, so you ain't got to worry about
And
this,
old.
right? You're talking to a guy, right? You guys finally get close. Everything's been going good. You go over his crib. You see the phone ding with a notification. All right, you don't really look. You're trying to respect people's boundaries, but you look over and you see it looks a little lewd. So you slide in and you press it, and there's a multitude of people liking some digital porn that this guy has created.
Oh, geez.
And now you've opened up Pandora's box and saw that this guy has been making porn.
Block to burn. Bye.
Yeah, but I'm saying is not that's your response, and
Right.
that's great. But think about how many relationships this will destroy.
Yeah.
How many more people won't get laid
Yeah.
Right.
because you can't stop doing this because we know of the addictive nature of pornography.
Yeah.
So stop. Get some help.
Yeah,
Ugh.
for sure.
Anyway.
Just don't do it. And I mean, I think Twitter is a responsibility, like you said earlier, like sue the shit out of them for this. They have a responsibility to keep control of their Grok. Like, you can't do this with Chat GPT.
No,
It's
you
not
can't.
something you can do. There are guardrails in place for other AI. This is just Elon Musk's crazy brain.
This made my stomach hurt. Like
I'm
this
sorry.
whole story. But anyway, let's talk about something fantastic.
Okay.
That I think, which
Okay.
is scamming the government.
And particularly when I'm so fiscally fucking pissed off
Yes.
at the money being spent. Like, we can't get healthcare
No.
I'm on austerity measures, man. Like, for real austerity measures.
or fucking scrambled eggs has now become a fucking luxury.
Absolutely.
So I'm just saying, but we're sending we're basically starting a war
Yep.
in the Caribbean.
yeah, but we get
And
no breaks.
So now we're looking for alternatives, Norris. We're looking at how can I get back some of that hard-earned money that I keep sending to the fucking IRS. How can I
That's
get it back?
right. And one of the things that you're going to hopefully be able to do is a woman is currently suing the Internal Revenue Service to claim her dogs
Yes.
as dependents.
Yes.
So love
Amanda
this.
Reynolds. Thank you, Amanda. I love this. I'm actually here for it.
I mean, you are caring for another living being that
Yes.
can't provide for itself.
I mean, think about all of the animals that would be rescued from shelters right now because they
Specifically
could
for
get
tax
fucking
purposes?
tax write-offs.
Oh, I'm getting a dog instantly.
Get two.
Yeah, I'm getting quite a few. Listen, okay. There's an aspect of this that yes seems ridiculous, but there's also an aspect of it of maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not. You know, because for me, look, I'm right there with you, Julie. Of my tax dollars are going to infinitely dumber things right now.
Correct.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
Right,
I'm
like
not,
Venezuela.
yeah.
ICE.
You know,
I did not sign off on this shit.
No.
Yeah, you've cut all the stuff that I like. You know, you won't give me health care, but you're getting rid of NPR and PBS and all the cool stuff I actually like for my taxes to do. So you know what? Nope, scam season.
And I'm still waiting for my fucking $3,000, $5,000 check that I was supposed to get last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of those checks are coming through.
The military member's supposed to get 1776, but that was actually
exactly.
taken out of like their housing allowance or something.
But even then, man, like I got plenty of veterans in my family. Like, where's they warrior dividend?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
exactly.
We trying to get the kickback for everybody. But my question is, and you know, Adrian, I know you are a dog owner.
I am.
Will you be claiming the pupperoos?
I would totally claim her. Absolutely.
She's cute too.
She's very pretty,
beautiful.
very beautiful.
You should get extra credits.
I really should. I've been thinking about getting a dog for my dog, but then everybody's like, then you have twice as much. I'm covered in dog hair probably right now. She's great. I would definitely do a dog tax credit. I mean, between vet bills, I was going to buy myself a nice bag last year, in 2024. I came home. Somehow she'd found grapes. I don't know how she did that. I had to take her to the emergency room. It was like literally $1,200 later. I'm like, nobody's getting a new bag because you guys got your stomach pumped. You know, like something, anything I
Selfish
could do.
bitch.
Right. Such a selfish bitch. For real. But I really like this idea, actually. I mean, this is not like frivolous. There's a lot of people who really depend on their animals too. They may not have children. They have, you know, maybe dogs that are helpers for them, seeing eye dogs or therapy dogs. So it's a lot of money to keep a pet.
I think for me, you know, just in all seriousness, I think if you have a service dog, that should be taxed.
I actually assumed it was.
Tax exempt.
I assumed there was like something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know. It might be.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I'm all here for that woman to be suing the IRS. I am just like totally. I will fucking buy 5
Listen,
dogs.
I'm just saying, if this goes through, get ready.
I know.
There will be no more abandoned pets anywhere. 'Cause
Yeah.
people will
Exactly.
be going to the Humane Society right now to get a tax break.
And it's not like you get a lot of tax breaks for having kids. Like you really don't get that much money
No.
on your taxes, like to
Yeah.
claim them. Like give me a couple $100 a month for my dog or whatever.
I don't know. That tax money used to send us on vacation
Yeah.
every year. I knew it. Once March hit, I mean, where we going, Mom? You know, but it's a little different nowadays. But staying on the topic of taxes, Steve Cara, you know, correct me if I'm wrong.
Cara.
Steve Cara has proposed here in Michigan that he wants to put forth a bill to where if you don't have children, that you don't have to pay taxes for the schools. Now, here's the problem with that.
So many problems.
Because right now, property taxes is the biggest thing attached to paying for schools. So if you don't have kids, your property taxes won't go to paying for that. We're not saying, you know, they're trying to eventually get to a point where no one pays any property taxes.
yeah,
right?
that's right.
But this is sort of the sly move of conservatives to try to get childless folks.
So
to
Steve
get on
Cara
board
is a
with
state
this.
rep. He's a Republican state rep. We
Yeah.
just need to remind everybody of that.
He's
But,
from
yeah.
Southwest Michigan.
He is, yeah.
He's an interesting guy.
So, I mean, look, if I was going to be like tongue in cheek, I'd say, fantastic, I don't have kids. I'm happy.
You're gonna get a
to do that.
dog,
I'm going to
right?
get a dog.
Right.
This is going to be a win-win situation for me. I may be less fiscally pissed off. But at the end of the day, I mean, for fuck's sake, Steve, like, do you want, I think about it all the time. I don't have kids. I've been paying taxes all my life in multiple countries. and I think about all the money that goes towards, yes, public school. I grew up myself in a public school. I went to public school. I went to school in a country where basically university, like everything is funded from that perspective
I got to get out of here.
by the government, right? I'm used to socialized healthcare, and education is like yes, I'm totally here for it. And I think about the fact that when you pay taxes for things like public education, when you pay taxes for something like healthcare, I want the people looking after me when I get old, when I'm in the aged care facility, when I'm sort of living out my life happily wherever that might be, that those people are fucking educated.
Yes.
That those people are smart enough to not, be able to look after me, to be able to look after my family. Like, I don't understand why you do not want, you claim to live in the best country in the world. The best country in the world should have the best education system in the world. That's as simple as that. And education should not be just for those that are wealthy. Education should be for everybody. I don't understand. It's the weakest link in a chain, like a chain fucking breaks if you've got one link that's weak. It's gone. So it's like, I don't understand why you want the people around you and looking after you to be stupid.
So
makes no sense to me.
I'll be honest. I felt conflicted about how we fund schools in general, period, because by being attached to property taxes so heavily, that means if you live in an area where your homes are devalued,
Like Detroit,
that means your schools are funded like crap. So that's always kind of been a stick in my craw. And I've said, like, we should find ways to fund schools that are not solely or mostly dependent on property taxes, because that's naturally going to create an imbalance in general.
But that's a systemic issue.
That's a systemic
that
issue.
issue is that the taxes, and I agree with you, Norris.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when I came here and I found out, well, why are the schools why is there a disparity between the education in Detroit versus, Birmingham?
Racism.
I don't understand that.
And racism.
Well,
Birmingham.
But it took me a minute
It's
to work that
Birmingham's
out
fault.
until I found out that your taxes from where you live, your property taxes include that. Like, why does, a little Huntington Woods have more police in it than fucking,
Right.
None of it makes sense.
Well,
So
even
it's
rural areas in the state too aren't funded as well, and it really it should really be equal dollar for equal access for each child.
Now, with that said, I gleefully would pay what the taxes I need to, because I want the kids to be able to read.
Right.
Right? Like, because again, we know that there is a direct correlation between a lack of education and crime.
correct.
We know it. It has been proven time and time and time again. So I don't want to be 60, 70, 80 years old, doing my thing, going to the grocery store, getting knocked over the head by some kid who has never had the chance to go to school, never had a chance to have an opportunity to better their own lifestyle. And let's not even take it out of education is the way to get out of poverty and all this types of, no, at a very basic baseline minimum, I want all children in America, every last one, regardless of race or wherever the hell they were born, to be able to read, to be able to have basic arithmetic skills, to be financially literate, and to be able to look at another human being as a human being. That's it.
And these are the people, this is the future. And I don't want to sound too like, we are the world. No. Like, this is not. These are the future fucking scientists. These are the future, the actual people that will be inventing and creating. Because let's face it, AI, it's going to be like, just a big porn site probably for a very long time. So we're not going to rely on that. But this is where the future in terms of like technology, in terms of like science, in terms of like, I know we're in the midst of the moment of taking away like access to vaccines and all sorts of stuff. We don't love science, but there will come a time when we will all need some form of science and the medical industry and the science to basically be able to help move us forward or help us survive as a society.
I mean,
so it's like, why the fuck don't you want that?
Yeah, I
can tell you why he doesn't want it.
you hit me with it.
Okay.
Hit me with it.
You have to think about, like, if you're draining the public school system of resources, the people that come in to fill that gap are charter schools.
Yeah.
And private schools.
Oh, it's money.
It's money.
Yeah.
That's the only, he didn't care how you get your kid educated. There's no fucking skin off his nose. He wants to be able to help his wealthy donors.
It's Betsy DeVos.
Betsy DeVos, like, put her nose in there with the charter schools. That's what that's about. That's what it's about.
And it's the white Christian nationalist kind of stuff as well. Remember that?
Right.
It's just going to be religion and bloody, getting your kids on the fucking
Jesus hates
tractor.
these people.
No,
Jesus.
Like no, for real. Like he is torn up the temple for the people being charlatans. Like again, let's go back and read the book, people. If we gonna really lean on it like that, he would not like any of these people.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't even want to call these people Christians.
Norris is
Okay.
on fire today.
I don't.
Welcome back.
No, I don't want to hear it from these people.
But
These
it's
people
true. It is
are-
a white Christian nationalist, charter school, fundamentalist, private school shit. That's what it's about. I'm going to
Disgusting.
defund the public schools so that you really have no choice but for us to go in and do this.
disgusting. Anyway, it's a new year.
Is it?
It's a new year, y'all. And a lot of people make New Year's resolutions. I don't, because I love myself too much and I'm fair to myself. And so I don't want to make myself all disappointed. But some people might make New Year's resolutions. Have you all made any?
I make at least one every year, and I think of it as more of a goal, and I try to make it very specific. So it's not like this loosey-goosey, like, I'm going to get healthy. Like, what the hell does that mean? So last year for 2025, it was to take more naps.
Oh, that's a good
Ooh,
one.
And
like
I
that.
did.
Look at you.
And it was fabulous.
Yeah.
And this year, because I am like trying to put in austerity measures, like just generally speaking, everything's so much more expensive. I'm a single parent. I have a dog that I have to take care of, that I really need to be better at budgeting my money. So I actually spent a few days before New Year's Eve putting together the most ridiculously amazing spreadsheet that I've ever made. I went through and line itemed every purchase I made in 2025 across everything
How can you do that?
with spreadsheets.
That's no thank you.
I did it with spreadsheets. So I know exactly how much, like, where my money walked out the door. And I was like, maybe spending $12,000 a year on eating out
Don't do that.
needs to turn that down a little bit,
Yeah.
you know? So that's be best at budgeting is what I'm planning this year with
I
my
love
spreadsheet.
That. I love that. I decided to say cunt more
I love that.
and start podcasting from a sofa. I saw somebody that podcasts from laying down on a sofa, and I'm like, I could probably do that.
Can we get the couch back in here?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we should.
Maybe,
too.
yeah.
Maybe we
But no,
should.
quite seriously, I'm really trying hard, and I'm probably not as good at. Yeah, just napping. That's a good idea.
Napping.
Nap more. But I'm really. I say it every year, and I do try and live it. That focus on what's important. Try and understand that they continue to throw shit at you. But I'm going to try this year to worry less and live more. And you will all say that, oh, you live a lot, Julie. But and I do. But I spend a inordinate amount of time worrying as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I need to, even though whilst I'm living more, I'm going to try to worry less.
Good.
I will say, if I had to say I gave myself a New Year's resolution, it would be to give less fucks.
That's a good one.
Because what I've realized, especially as my capacity of doing things here and everywhere, is that I cannot give credence to opinions and ideologies that don't make sense. And so I'm not going to. So in 2026, if you hear me swear a lot more, if you hear me be a little bit more aggressive, if you hear me, maybe be a little bit more vocal about a lot of stuff, it's because I ain't got time for this no more, y'all.
Yeah. And you're living up to your New Year's resolution.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we'll remind you of it. Too.
I appreciate it because stupid people are really the bane of my existence.
Well, you know what else I had on here? Stop putting up with shit that I don't have to.
See?
Yeah,
There you
Yeah.
go.
But I wanted to tell you guys about my be best at budgeting.
I do love
no,
that.
I you know what? You're doing so well. I'm so proud
Thank you.
of both of you.
Thank
So when
you.
she turns around and says to us, can't come to dinner, sorry.
That's what's been happening. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, when I eat out 6 times a week.
I feel like we should, that period between Christmas and New Year, I don't know about you guys, but I love that period.
That's the best.
That's like that time where like almost like time stops, nothing matters. It's like this weird, I feel like if we could just make every day
Yeah.
like that.
Hibernation. I watched a lot of Emily in Paris.
Yeah, all
I
that
started
stuff.
watching
I love-
Pluribus.
I love
Oh my
Emily in
God,
Paris.
Pluribus.
Do you?
I actually
It's
low-key love
so
that show.
ridiculous.
So dumb, but I love
so
that show.
ridiculous. I mean, I got to go back. Like, I got to finish this season, but I'm like, I'm here for Elfie's abs and the clothes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's
For me,
it.
it's the clothes.
It's
Not
just,
Elfie's abs.
Oh, he's a handsome guy now.
It's sugar. It's just
It
eating
is.
sugar.
It is.
I
It's
love
It
it.
is.
Too.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Her being
Yeah.
in Italy and Rome, like just the pantsuits, like the Poochie pantsuits. So like, this is crazy. And like, she lives in this tiny little walk up that's one room with her roommate. And I'm like, where are you sticking all these clothes?
Doesn't
Where
matter.
are the
It
clothes?
doesn't matter.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Suspend belief.
Correct.
There you go.
Exactly.
Just
There
hook
you
up
go.
with the hot French chef. Why are we just not with him? Because then the show would end.
Oh, he annoyed me.
and then the show would be
Yeah.
over.
Yeah,
he was
exactly,
annoying. He was
exactly.
annoying.
But anyway, that's gonna be the show, everyone. We hope everybody has had a great transition into the new year. Again, follow us on all of our social medias, whether it be Point of Disorder on Instagram and all that good
And
stuff.
YouTube. Don't forget
YouTube.
Yes, YouTube. Very
Yes.
important. Follow us on YouTube where you can see our beautiful faces.
Mm-hmm.
And also you can follow Distill Social on all major social platforms and the Guerrilla Politic. From everybody here at Point of Disorder, your host Norris signing off.
See you next Thursday.
Can I say see you next Tuesday because I'm saying cunt more this year?
Yeah.
There you go.
Bye.
Bye. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Point of Disorder. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to everyone who listened today. And if you like us, give us a like, a subscribe, or a review on any place you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Distill Social and at The Guerrilla Politic. This is the Point of Disorder podcast, signing off. Stay sharp, stay progressive, and above all, stay tuned.